a Table Mountain in the Netherlands. I'm on my way to discover. Are you coming along? I'm very close to Huizen and Blaricum, and these are towns now, jewels of towns, beautiful to live, old farmhouses, no big streets, no high-rising buildings. And what a difference with the early days. Because of these villages, they were so poor here on the sandy soils, nothing much more than just keep some sheep. No industry really got, well, put here in the area, and that is why it kept its old character. And it was only, well, beginning of the 20th century that times changed. Artists discovered this region, and now everybody wants to live here. It's beautiful. Blaricum and Laren were old towns, especially in the Middle Ages, where just farmers lived, tried to make a living, having some sheep, and sheep, that is the history connected to this area with all the heather fields. The old Naarden Road is the connection from Blaricum to Naarden. If you had your wool in the early days and you, well, couldn't really use it yourself, you brought it all the way to Naarden, where there was a decent wool industry, and used this path, which is today a bike trail. We are approaching the Schaapskooi, which is this little barn specially made for sheep. There are about 45 sheep here, Drentse schapen, from the province of Drenthe, and they are specially kept here for herding the heather fields, otherwise it would be getting too bushy, too many trees, and these little guys, we need them for working. The Schaapskooi here is, well, always open, but more open on Sunday. That is when they have from 2 to 4 o'clock special activities for children. There will be somebody present here to explain things, could be even arty crafty stuff. And these sheep here are now outside. I guess they have been working and are on their way back to their sleeping place. There is another location where there's sheep herding, there's more of them, and they do jobs here in the whole region where they have grazing projects. I'm almost now at the Table Mountain. It's a man-made hill, and there's more of those hills as the big one in Silbury in the UK. These hills very likely have been made for religious purposes, but exactly nobody knows. But the Table Mountain here is nice. They all have more or less a cone shape with a flattened top. Let's go have a look. The Tafelberg, the Table Mountain. Here we are. The Table Mountain is originally called the Kooltjesberg, which is actually the mountain of coals, like charcoal, because we are not far from the old coastline of the Zuiderzee, and this was the place where they had a beacon, a fire burning to warn the ships. And there is evidence that this mountain has already been here in the 17th century. On the top there was a stone table, like a marcation point with orientation markings in it, and after that they very likely gave it the name Table Mountain. And this Table Mountain attracted many people already in the 18th century and on. Tourists came here to watch the view, see the Zuiderzee, the Southern Sea that was not far from here. You could even see the Dom Church of Utrecht. That's a really high tower, but still no trees then, can you imagine? So there would have been a really wide view. And what was very special is that in the days when the heather was blooming, more people would come, or the days when the buckwheat fields were blooming. And in the 20th century they even added a little kiosk where you could buy a drink, a little snack, just at the bottom of the hill. And that's gone now. Here we go. Here I am, 39.2 meters above sea level. Great views. And nowadays you can bike by, you can walk by, but in the early days it was the carriage with the mail, the post, that passed by this route, and that is why a lot of tourists were able to come and visit and enjoy the views. The kiosk to get a drink at the bottom of the hill, that one is not there anymore, but at the Oude Naardenweg here behind me and at the other side there are 2 restaurants open Not in Corona days, but they will again. Well, thank you for joining me again on one of my walks. I hope to see you next time. I try to keep on going and making new videos. You may subscribe to my YouTube channel, and even if you give it a thumbs up, if you click on the bell, you get even notified when there's a new one. Thank you. See you. Bye.